practice. How's Beetle doing?
Beetle's day to day. Like he's going to actually be a game day decision. Basically, if he can keep food down, if they can get his energy back up, he's going to play. So there's nothing, none of the testing procedures he's done is going to stop him from playing. It's just if he's got enough energy to play. Hopefully he can with all the guards that play though. So he's day to day.
Has everybody been able to practice last couple days?
Yeah, I mean, we've held some guys out of some stuff just to, like Herb's wrist. We didn't want to get that any more injured. So, I mean, I tell our guys at Buffalo every year, by the time February hits, there's no team in the country that's honestly, there's probably no player in the country that's 100% healthy. Like, we're going to be banged up by February. It's just the nature of sports, college basketball. I mean, it's a long season. Shoot, we started practicing back in September. So by the time you get to February, it's who can toughen it up, and we're going to be smart, not practice guys that, are a little banged up. We got to get to the games and give an effort in the games. So I think, we're anticipating playing much better than we did against LSU, but we also got to, practice dictates how you play, but you also got to be smart with the practice and not overdo it with guys that are trying to nurse stuff and get them to the games. Kind of going back to what we did in November with, Herb, Reese, Beetle, where we get them to the games. We're not quite as banged up as we were then, but we end up getting pretty high shoot. At Buffalo, C.J. Massenberg walked around with a boot for a month and a half with a stress fracture, and all we did was play him in games for a month and a half during one season. So at some point, you just got to get guys to games at this point of the year.
When you and the players say that you emphasize toughness during practice, what all does that entail?
I mean, are you actually playing with effort? Are you rebounding the basketball? Like this, I mean, kind of our blue collar points, our toughness stuff. Are you getting deflections? It's just more of an effort. Toughness is, we're not trying to do tough man drills at this point. We're not trying to get people hurt in practice. We've got enough issues getting people hurt in games. So it's more like, are you giving an effort every day? Are you locked into the scouting report? It's more mental toughness sometimes than it is physical toughness.
How disappointing is that, though? I mean, that's kind of your brand. That's kind of what you want to bring into here.
Yeah, I was really upset with our effort at LSU. It's just not who we've tried to be. I mean, I told our guys all this blue collar stuff and hard hat, it's all fake if this is the effort we're going to get. So, and I don't really want to be associated with a fake team. So, like, we either got to bring it every night or that ain't who we are. So, I didn't think we brought it against LSU. I thought we played hard against K-State. I mean, deflections were up. I mean, you looked at our blue collar board, our points. I think we were 80, just over 80 points total, or 87 and a half, maybe it was. And then Herb had over 30 of them himself. So now, we got to get the rest of the guys that get their numbers up. So, we know Herb's going to take charges. We know Herb's going to get deflections, loose balls, rebounds. We got to get everybody else doing the same thing. So I think the effort was really good in practice today. We didn't go live yesterday. We went live for a short period today. Thought it was great. Thought it was one of our best practices we've had in a long time. I'm anticipating that carries over to the game tomorrow, and I think we'll come out and play with a lot more energy, a lot more toughness, be a lot more like what we've been playing like recently.
How's Petty responded to coming off the bench?
Petty's been great. I love John. He's been a leader we need him to be. He, part of being a leader is handling criticism well. I think there's sometimes some guys on this team are too sensitive. John was great. He was great. He owned it in front of, he basically told me it'll never happen again. Like, the effort in the game against LSU, he told me that I'm not going to let it happen again. So I think John's ready to go again. I think we'll see a really good John Petty tomorrow.
We had Jalen Forbes in here. How does he progress?
Jalen's coming, and I told him, like, he's, with Beetle's situation and give and take and not, like, Forbes has had a great attitude for the whole year. And I said, like, he's a kid you want to reward when you get a chance to reward him with minutes. He's coming. He's a shooter. It's hard to be a shooter when you get limited minutes. Sometimes get 1-2 shots a game. There's a little pressure on you. So now, if he can get some more minutes, he got 5 threes up the last game. He only made one, but if if he knows he's going to get more minutes and you're a little more comfortable, I think he can start to knock some shots down. He's a tough kid. Some of the toughness that maybe we've been lacking, he does bring. He's maybe not quite as athletic as some other guys, but I think you make up for a lot of that with some toughness, and I think he's been progressing as a freshman. He's going to get some more minutes, I think, tomorrow. And they've got more guards too. Sometimes they put 5 guards on the floor, so sometimes it's hard to play more than 1 or 2 bigs. They never have more than 1 big really out there. So, and even their big, it's like a 3 or 4 man. So I think it's a game where Forbes can get some more time.
Arkansas is a great defensive team against the three-point shot statistically. I don't know all the components that go into making them that way, but from your standpoint, does that call for more patience maybe on the shot?
Yeah, I think we got to be smart with what we do. And part of their taking away threes is they're smaller, a lot of guards, and they switch a lot of ball screen time. And a lot of times, you get 2 guys involved with a ball screen, you got to bring help from somewhere else, gives you spray out threes. Well, when you switch a ball screen, there doesn't need to be any help from anywhere else. It's just 2 guys guarding it. So they're able to eliminate a lot of threes with that. Now there's other ways you can make them pay for the switching. So this may be a game where we don't get 30, 40 threes up just with the guard, and we may need to score more in the paint, and we may need to attack them a little bit more on some of the switches and play it differently. So we always say the game dictates how many shots we get up, and this may be a game where the game dictates, the defense dictates, we may get less threes up. So we definitely don't want to be shooting bad contested threes just to get X number of threes up. Like, that's not how we play. So we'll let the game dictate how many we actually end up taking.
You talked about the decision to sit Petty. How do you feel like you've been able to push certain buttons with players this year? I mean, you mentioned earlier in the year about trying to kind of learn the personnel a little better, learn what they want to do. How do you feel you've done kind of pushing buttons, trying to get players to respond?
Yeah, I think you got to build a relationship with them. There's a lot of one-on-one meetings, a lot of some leadership meetings, we call them. Like, we talk about what we need, what needs to happen in practice. And a lot of times you put the ownership on them. Like, I tell them, I'm still young. I'm going to be able to coach this game for another 20, 25 years, I hope. Like, this is your only season together. This is your college career. It's really your team. Like, I'm helping you have the best year possible, but this is your career. I mean, it's your team. So when you put the ownership on them and they take ownership of the fact that things haven't gone as well and practice hasn't been as good and changes, there's got to be, they take a little bit more ownership. When they have ownership of it, I think they realize sometimes there's got to be consequences to things not going well. They're a fairly mature group, and they know when they haven't been well, and they know they got to get fixed, and sometimes you got to get it fixed. So I think we got what needed to be fixed, and I think we'll come out with a lot of energy on Saturday. I think we're playing a lot better. I think our minds are in a good spot right now.
Just as a coach, have you ever been in a situation where you've been out-rebounded by 22 games in a row?
No, it's disastrous. I told our guys it speaks to toughness. I mean, as a player, you've got your own resume individually as a player. Whether you're trying to play in the NBA, whether you're trying to go overseas, whether you're just trying to, it's what they speak of you as a person sometimes. You don't want to be, it's a few things you don't want to be labeled as. One is lazy, like that's a label that's hard to shake. Okay, soft is another label that's hard to shake. Selfish is another one that's hard to shake. Like, well, if you're out rebounded by 22 games in a row, all of a sudden, like, if you're tough, that doesn't happen. So unless we want to be labeled soft, like, we better get this thing fixed, because this is not what tough teams do, is get their butts kicked on the glass like this back-to-back games. So I don't care if you're small, big, whatever. I mean, LSU's leading the league. Their bigs aren't that big. Their biggest guys, they're 3-man, Trendon Watford. I mean, Trendon led them in rebounding with 15, but they're 5-man's size of John Petty. I mean, now he's got longer arms and whatever, but he's pretty athletic. Petty's pretty athletic too. Like, we can't use playing small as an excuse for not being tough. So, yeah, I have not had a team do that I can remember, and I hope it never happens again, because it's hard to win games doing that.
One more question.
From what you've seen, has the student section kind of stepped up their game? Is that noticeable for you?
Student section's great. I mean, you walk in before the game and you see 30 minutes before the game, and it's full all the way to the rafters. It's awesome. The leadership in that student section's been great. Our guys love playing in front of, sold out crowd, or at least the student section filled the capacity, and I think they bring an energy to the group. So whether we were at home or away or whatever, our energy needed to be a lot better this game. The fact that we are home and our crowd can get behind us, I think will even add to it.
I know there's a limited amount of interaction when it comes to you and the coaching staff with the other coaches, but is that noticeable, you think, for the teams walking in here? Seeing that? Has anybody mentioned to you, it's like, maybe I wasn't expecting Coleman to be like this the last few games?
Yeah, a couple of, I know Coach Pearl was good before the game and talked about how great, the students there and how full it is and that. And obviously it helped that it was Auburn and that it was fourth in the country and undefeated and all that. So, but yeah, some other coaches I think have noticed, and I think, we notice when we walk in somewhere and it's empty or it's full. And I mean, we'd like to play in front of full crowds everywhere. It's just, it helps liven the game up. But obviously when you're at home and they're behind you, it's even better playing in front of a full crowd.
All right, thank you.